Have you ever watched a movie and expected to see something utterly amazing, but then it falls flat? Well, that didn't really happen for me for the Black Widow movie because I really enjoyed it, but it did have its moments. In this video, I really want to explain what I expected from this movie, my reaction to this movie, and some letdowns to explain why I thought this movie was utter bonkers, yet amazing at the same time. I expected a fun movie full of MCU action and some story, as this movie was a build-up of a decade since the Black Widow was first introduced in the MCU in Iron Man 2. All I remembered of Black Widow then was that she was so cool, yet she had a couple of bubblegum pop looks because of the wardrobe. But she could fight with the big guys and definitely could hold her own, so I really rocked with her. So for this movie, I wanted to see all of her backstory, like the Red Room, how she was picked to be a spy in the first place. Basically, her entire story. So I sat in the theater, eyes ready with excitement, when the opening sequence came on the screen. My expectations were not fulfilled, but I still had a really good time. But from this moment on, this video is going to be full of spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie, I'd advise you click off. I'll give you a second. Are we good? All right, let's continue. The part that I really thought was amazing was the sequence of Natasha's training. I thought it was really cool and moving. I loved the song they used behind it too. It was like a cover of Nirvana's song Smells Like Teen Spirit by Think Up Anger featuring Malia J. I think that's how you pronounce it. And for me, I really did like the action sequences, like the one in the Russian jail and the huge CGI sequence at the end. I know people say that they hate that sequence. It's a complete mess, but I actually really liked it. I had a great time. It was just seeing this huge thing happening on the screen, which is, to me, was an utter spectacular. I don't know which word to use, but it was just really cool. And yes, of course, I can see like where the CGI doesn't connect, and I'm just like, ooh. But overall, I thought it was a good time being in that world. And of course, out of all those things that I really liked, Yelena is on the top of that list. I was constantly laughing when she spoke, especially about the superhero landing pose. I also loved the endearing conversations she had with Natasha and David Harbour's character. She truly acted like the youngest child who yearns for a quote-unquote family. I also loved her dry humor, monotone voice, and her perpetual frown when she was either serious or sad. And I honestly think that is an actual like acting thing that Florence Pugh does. But don't tell her that I figured it out. But I mean, that even if it's an acting ploy that she does, I think it really fit Yelena's character in a very unique way. And the thing is, I even enjoyed David Harbour's character as the loony Russian super soldier that misses the good old days. I mean, he didn't really add so much to the story, but I mean, I still enjoyed him. What was bonkers though was the fact that like Natasha didn't get a full movie about her. Most of it was about her family and Yelena, which was still awesome. But when I look back on the previous Marvel movies, I distinctly remember their movies being about the character whose name is in the actual title of the movie. Even Captain America Civil War still felt like it was Captain America's movie. So for this movie, Yelena's storyline was a heck of a lot stronger, as if Natasha had to get out of the way for Yelena. For example, we saw when Yelena decided to go against the Black Widow organization after she was quote-unquote enlightened with the red dust. We heard and saw her sadness and yearning for her quote-unquote family. But the thing is, I wish those moments were given to Natasha so we can see who Natasha really is, instead of her character continuing to be shrouded in mystery, even after her own movie. Maybe it's just me, or maybe honestly it's just me, but it just felt like she's more in mystery. Like we didn't really get anything about Natasha herself, like all this backstory that's been alluded to over the past decade, and this movie had a chance to really put a foot in it and actually walk in it and explain to us, but they decided not to because we gotta do phase 4 and introduce Yelena. I just felt like it sucked. And also the part about Taskmaster was a major letdown. Like, I like how they gender bent the character and how her backstory as the daughter of Dreykov, right? So she's the daughter of Dreykov who was in the explosion that was meant for Dreykov. But they both survived. So Dreykov turned his daughter into a super soldier style Black Widow. But the thing is, what we got in the trailer, or what is known about Taskmaster the character, we did not get in this movie. So the scenes with Taskmaster were letdowns. I expected major action sequences instead of the little tidbits. Like, we know that Taskmaster is he like, the character mimics action moves. We didn't get any of that. Even when he see, now I want to say he, but it's a she now in the MCU, when she fought Natasha up on the bridge, there was very little mimicking. And even when the character fought the Russian spy, David Harbour's character, again, there was no mimicking involved. So I was just like, what are we doing? Like, is this character here, Taskmaster is only here so you can say that this character is now a woman? The backstory is really cool and it deepens the character of Taskmaster, but at the same time, like, it's also a letdown that we didn't really get the mimicry or the action sequences like that the character is known to mimic in order to defeat whoever he's fighting or whatever. I don't know, that was a tangent, but I digress. So the thing is also, right, I'm not done with Taskmaster. Was it just me, or did anyone feel like the person in the suit was a man though? So when Taskmaster lifted their mask, it was a woman under there, but I was shocked because my mind was like, wait, but this character walks in such a masculine way. I thought it was a man. Even how the character fought, I was like, wait, this has to be a man. But then when the mask came off, it was a woman. And I was like, whoa. I really did like that, but at the same time, I'm just like, it doesn't match. So I couldn't really put the two together. So after a while, I just let it go and just watch the movie so I can just continue watching this movie. But anyway, all in all, though, this movie felt like a small scale movie. Even though fans of Black Widow have been asking for this movie for a decade. All I took from this movie really was Yelena and the origins of that green vest she wore in Avenger Infinity War. And don't forget the idea of the blonde bleach hair she had too in that movie as well. Because it's hinted as to how and when she decided to dye her hair bleach, just so it's congruent with the movies that with Avenger Infinity War. But despite that, and even despite knowing that she dies later on after the Black Widow movie, I still expected a grand movie that detailed how she was chosen to be Black Widow in the first place. Her training, her missions, and the story of the exact moment when she had feelings of leaving and the turmoil of those feelings. Heck, I also would want to know the story behind how she got a job with Tony Stark from her perspective, and also from the perspective of a Black Widow organization. Like, why was he a target? Unless I missed something in the previous movies. But this was the movie that we got in the end. A farewell to Natasha Romanoff and a grand striking hello to Yelena. And because Yelena was introduced in this movie, I'm not mad or anything, because she was an awesome character. And like I said, I really did enjoy this movie. I really did. It could have been better, of course, but I enjoyed it. So that's my opinion and commentary on the Black Widow movie. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And even if you don't want to, hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye.